Are you fed up with your IKEA furniture? Don't throw them away, just change them by painting them. Let's see how it's done. Our project is really ambitious. In fact, Emma has chosen a gorgeous wallpaper, which is called
Monkeys and Leaves, made by Fornasetti.
It's a beautiful piece. So, with an original wallpaper, a real one, we can easily cover the main doors after painting the structure and make it truly modern. First, though, we start by removing the handles, because we don't like them. I take a star screwdriver and start. I'll start by telling you that if you use Magic Paint, which is the paint we use, you don't need to sand. It's one of the few paints on the market that doesn't need a primer, so you don't need an adhesive or to sand. Because it's made with amazing raw materials, the adhesive is already inside and, besides sticking really well, it also holds on very smooth and glossy surfaces like this material, which is very smooth and plastic coated. It will last for many years. In fact, we also do kitchens, tiles, doors. You prepare the surface with our bar. Our bar is hot water, about a liter. A small glass of ammonia. And baking soda. The normal baking soda, the same stuff you use to wash vegetables. Very hot water, a semi-abrasive dish sponge, and a microfiber cloth for rinsing. And you wash it really, really well, because a nicely cleaned surface allows the paint to grip 100% and not come off. Try this, our bar, even if you need to clean, I don't know, the inside of an extractor hood. It dissolves all the grease, all of it, completely. After washing the entire surface with our bar, you take clean water, a microfiber cloth, and rinse it well. We lay the furniture flat because we want to paint it horizontally, as the paint spreads much better with a roller. You waste less, so you save on paint and avoid drips and runs. You work much better. My paint. Look how thick it is. You must use it pure because its adhesive allows it to stick well to these surfaces. How do you recognize Magic Paint? Well, the Magic Paint brand and another crucial thing, the brush stroke. These brush strokes are done by hand on all the cans worldwide to give you a clear idea of the color shade. Obviously, then it needs to be protected. What do I do? First tip today, I use the roller, which is so demonized by decorators, but they're wrong. I put some paint in the little tray. Look, I put about this much from the opened can. I must have put in about 150 grams, a little tray that even has a transparent cover. Look, this allows me to be quicker because today I'm really in a rush. And once I've finished with the black, I throw it away to then pour in some protective paint. So with one little tray, I can use multiple products. My roller, a fantastic microfiber roller that allows me to cover really well, already with the first coat. It's the Magic Paint roller, of course, but I've already used it, so to make the fibers nice and soft again, I wrap it with some masking tape and then... Look, it removes the dust, it gets rid of the excess fluff, and it's as good as new. Now you load the roller. Always work with the roller nice and full. And then off we go. Keep a brush close to you as well. It allows you to work really well in the tighter spots to maybe remove any smudges and drips. A 30 brush, it fits perfectly, it's just right. Look how easy it is. Look how well it grips. And how well the Nuit Parisienne covers. The color I'm about to use is a very, very special black. It's an antique, vintage black, and it's not a run-of-the-mill black. It's a black that really lets you capture different shades. Now, don't worry about the fact that it's not covering 100% because that's normal. The first time I use this color on such a bright white, it will act as a backdrop, as a base. Moreover, we'll be putting wallpaper, so we won't even apply a second coat, right, Emma? With the brush, I take just a tiny bit of paint from the tray here and I am going to do the edges and the indented parts. Obviously, when I'll open the doors, I will do them properly with some paper tape. If you want to have a universal application, once you've used the brush, you can also go over it with the roller. This way, you won't see the difference between the roller and the brush, but it will always be the same, and you'll have done a very nice, very precise job. Now I continue and apply my Nuit Parisienne. On the entire structure where the roller can't reach, the brush can. The first coat is dry, I'm starting the second. Always with pure paint, to help it stick to such a shiny surface, and always using a roller and a brush. On the front part of the doors, let's call them that, the wallpaper will be applied. But the wallpaper needs a special glue, which is in powder form. We'll have to prepare the glue about 15 minutes before applying it. It will be perfect, without lumps, and then we can apply the wallpaper. Preparing the glue is easy.
Yes, absolutely. We put a bit of water in a bowl.
We got this plastic kitchen bowl for a few euros, and we always use it for all the washes, glues, or something else. Emma added a finger of water in the bowl.
And I go on to sprinkle in a bit of glue, as they say, and mix it. I add a little at a time because I need to dissolve all the lumps.
Why are we showing you this process? Because usually on the glue box, you find the dilution instructions for the entire box. The whole package is usually sold for putting wallpaper on walls. We want to use just a little on a piece of furniture, so the idea of waste needs to be completely different. You shouldn't waste the product, so we buy the glue, which costs very little, of course, and we mix it, using it when we need it. Okay, and can this glue be stored? Yes, in a closed jar. So the classic glass jar for pickles. We wash it, we keep it for these uses as well. If there's any glue left over when we've finished our work, we put it in there. It can also be used for sticking sheets of paper, classic things, even for stationery.
I know the glue is ready, so I have added enough powder and the water is no longer clear, starting to become slightly cloudy.
Now we let it rest for about 15 minutes. In the meantime, we start applying the protective coat on the entire piece of furniture. This way it will be perfect, because when I go to put the wallpaper on, the furniture is already protected and I won't risk scratching it. So the glue sets, it becomes nice and creamy, and in the meantime, I don't waste time and apply the protective coat on the furniture. It's time to protect our shoe cabinet with a satin finish protective, which is a middle ground, obviously between matte and glossy. It's a new can, so I still need to dilute it, and usually I explain how to do it. I teach you that it should be diluted by about 20%, but it depends. Are we in summer? Are we in winter? What am I protecting? So what I always tell you is don't get anxious about the dilution percentages and try to understand, let's say, the consistency that you like. Obviously, you shouldn't overdo it. In a new jar, I've put in about half a finger of water. I'm showing you this step today because I don't want you to think that if you make a mistake of a few grams when adding water to the protective coat, there could be serious problems. Of course, if you dilute it too much, there could be a problem. Being too diluted, the protection might be insufficient, but worry about these issues especially when you're protecting a kitchen, a table, or doors. In this case, you'll see now. In just a few moments, once I've finished mixing and stirring, you'll see the consistency of the protective coat hasn't changed much. Nope. You see, it's always nice. Velvety, creamy, it's not watery. Look, it's very pleasant to apply this way. You can dilute it a tiny bit more at most when it's summer, when it's really hot, like in July or August. And when you're applying the protective coat, you don't have time to spread it before it dries and sets. This is the right consistency to achieve when you're diluting it. I'm using the roller again, but before I start, I'm doing this thing again. Which, right now, is super important. Why? Because on dark parts, on black, even on black cars, on black things in general, dust is more visible, lint is more visible, and this is a white fiber roller. So, with this method, we remove any white lint that remains on the roller and any dust. We remove them as much as possible, so we can apply the clear protective paint without any flaws. I load my roller really well. Now, for the sake of time, I'll carry on. But remember, if the roller starts to foam a bit, all you need to do is load it and leave it like that, just a moment, so that it settles. The air bubbles will pop, and it will be perfectly smooth. I don't have any bubbles now, and off I go. I try to be nice, smooth, and velvety, and this roller definitely helps me a lot, because the microfiber nap helps to self-level the paint, and it minimizes as much as possible the possibility of having smudges or marks in the future. So it's really an amazing roller. As you can see on the front part, I wasn't very good at applying the second coat evenly everywhere. In fact, here and here, I've left my rectangle of base color. I'm putting wallpaper here, avoiding paint and time waste. It's time to decorate. Can you show the wallpaper? So, it's called Monkeys and Leaves, from the Senza Tempo 2 collection, by Fornasetti, of course, and the code is 12310050. I'm telling you this because if you want to buy it on my website, you can. Remember one thing. It's important to really get this concept into your head. The elisahome.com website and Magic Paint retailers are the only ones selling this wallpaper by the meter. What it means is that if you only want to do this shoe cabinet, which is about 110 centimeters, so 1 meter and 10 centimeters, you only need to buy 2 meters, not the whole roll. You know, you save money, and those 90 centimeters that you don't use, you can use for, I don't know, the top of a small table, so maximum savings, but you have an original Fornasetti wallpaper that will make your home look amazing. Right, let's remove the wallpaper and spread the glue, which has thickened in the meantime. Do you remember how it was before? Now look at it. It's been about 15 minutes. Of course, since I am working with a very particular surface, it's not a wall. I tend to make it slightly thicker. If you want it smoother, more liquid, just add a bit of water. But remember, the more water you add, the more diluted it becomes and the less adhesive power it has. Let's spread it well over the entire front part, where I want to put the wallpaper. Always remember one very important thing. The wallpaper glue is amazing and it's specially designed not to leave any residue. What does it mean? It means that if you accidentally get a bit of glue on the wallpaper, nothing happens. You can take a microfiber cloth really well wrung out, I mean super wrung out, and gently wipe it over the wallpaper to clean off the excess glue. There won't be any problem, none at all, because you'll clean it off, you'll remove it. Now we spread the glue directly onto the surface because it's crucial to always be well informed about the method. There are some wallpapers where you have to spread the glue both on the surface, like on the wall, on the furniture, and on the wallpaper. For this wallpaper, you don't need to. Emma, do you remember what material it is made of?
It's a non-woven fabric. A material that mimics fabric in terms of sheen and finish.
But it's more flexible.
And so it's really easy to use and apply. What does it mean? It means that even with just one layer of glue directly on the surface, we're all good. We're ready for the application. We'll do a single run and then cut where we have the monkeys. Are you starting? Yes, so we have a slight frame that will stay black. How much is it? More or less 1/2 centimeter, right? Even less. Right, I prefer to start from the top. Okay, lift it up again. So you see, you can also lift it up without any issues and reposition it. I prefer to start from the top because I want to keep the level as a reference. I think it's pretty centered. Okay, so first of all, I attach the initial part, and it's important to remember that you should start from the center and push the air out, gently pressing on the sides. As you can see, I've put on a fabric glove. If you want to do it, it's good. Otherwise, you can also use a dry and clean cloth. This is just to touch the surface. I like to make sure 100% that there are no bubbles. Now I continue, making sure it sticks well to the surface and pushing all the air out. It could get trapped between the paper and the furniture. Slowly, you carry on. Always remember one thing. As the paper absorbs the glue, it gets damp, it takes it in, makes it its own. Then, only later will it become adhesive. So don't worry if in the first moments when you lay the paper, you see that it's not immediately nice and stuck to the surface. It takes a bit of time. When the non-woven fabric absorbs the glue, it holds it, then everything will be perfect. This step is important because if you've put it on crooked or the joining isn't perfect, you still have time to adjust it, so you can peel the sheet off and reposition it. So you've got a few minutes that give you the chance to redo the process if it hasn't turned out 100% right. I remove the excess glue by going over it with a damp cloth. I let the surface and the paper dry thoroughly before making the holes and cutting it. This way, I won't move it. So it will take at least an hour for it to start adhering well to the surface. The paper hasn't dried off completely, but it has started to set and is quite stuck to the surface. It means I can use the cutter. I go here. And I cut it so that I can open the doors. This step is definitely important because I mustn't ruin the paper, but it also allows me to check if the paper is well attached or not. This way, I can still add some glue and press down. As you can see here, I've got a bit of excess, a few millimeters. This could be a problem. Why? Because in the future, the hand will catch and cause the paper to peel and lift. So for me, it's really important to perfectly trim this part now, put some glue back under and make it stick again. I carefully lift it very slightly and add a tiny drop of glue all along the edge. This way, I make the paper stick again. And I'm on time for it to dry properly and set together with the rest of the door. This way. I remove the excess paper with a lot of precision. So I use the spatula to hold the support steady. Our shoe cabinet is beautiful. It's a piece of design, now with an original Fornasetti wallpaper. Now I wait for the paper to settle well, dry properly before putting on the knobs, which are the cherry on top. Emma chose this golden parrot. It fits with the forest theme, the monkeys and the leaves. We've already checked if the hole is right. Emma, it's right. Let's remind everyone at home that when they want to drill to put the knob on, it's important to use a 5.5mm bit, so a perfect wood drill bit. Do you like it, Emma? I like it a lot. This restyling is also finished. Where's this shoe cabinet going? To her house, so we've uncovered the mystery. This lovely shoe cabinet belonged to Emma and she wanted to change it because white no longer suited. It's not Emma's style. She likes this paper, but you also have other papers with monkeys and things like that. It's a theme you like. I'm really pleased because I've been wanting to show you a makeover on modern furniture for a while to make it even more contemporary. What does it mean? That even if the structure of a piece of furniture is glossy, white, squared, it doesn't mean it's modern. Sometimes we can have furniture that might be squared and seem modern, but they might have yellowed and aged. So always remember that as long as they work, as long as they're not completely smashed and broken, even furniture with these multi-layered materials, let's say, that aren't purely wood or solid wood, can be saved. Many, many times, even the furniture we buy from Ikea, so we say goodbye and remind you some things. 1. Where can you buy Magic Paint?
From authorized dealers found on www.magicpaint.it website.
Divided by region. Find the one closest to you, the one you like most, the friendliest. Follow them on social media. On the Magic Paint group, you find them commenting. Or do you want to buy Magic Paint online because there isn't a dealer nearby who can help you? The only Italian website that sells Magic Paint online is www.elisahome.com. A choice was made to protect the retailer and to protect the product. So, you'll never find Magic Paint on Amazon. Goodbye.